Okay, food lovers, let's talk pasta. Making homemade pasta might sound like you're attempting a culinary Everest, but trust me, it's more like hiking a hill on a sunny day. With just a few simple ingredients and some basic kitchen tools, you too can create delicious pasta that will blow your family and friends away without even breaking a sweat. Not only does homemade pasta taste better, but it's also a fun and rewarding way to flex your culinary muscles. So let's dive into the wacky world of pasta making from scratch. Ingredients: 2 cups all-purpose flour, or the fancy stuff if you're feeling extra. 3 large eggs, preferably from Happy Chickens. A pinch of salt, because we all need a little seasoning in our lives. Feeling adventurous? Try different types of flour like semolina or whole wheat to jazz up the flavor and texture. Who knew flour could be so exciting? Forget the store-bought stuff. Making it from scratch is easier and tastier than you think. We're talking pure satisfaction as you transform simple ingredients into beautiful bouncy pasta. Trust me, once you go homemade, you'll never go back. Homemade pasta is all about embracing the process, getting your hands dirty and creating something truly special. It's about the aroma of fresh dough filling your kitchen and the joy of sharing a delicious homemade meal with loved ones. So, ditch the packet pasta and let's get cooking. This is about unlocking a level of deliciousness you never thought possible. Get ready to impress yourself and everyone else with your newfound pasta prowess. Let's do this. Making pasta is surprisingly simple. You only need a few basic ingredients, most of which you probably already have in your pantry. We're talking flour, eggs, a pinch of salt, and maybe a drizzle of olive oil for good measure. See? Easy peasy. When it comes to flour, 0-0 flour is your pasta making best friend. It's finely milled, creating a beautifully smooth dough. But hey, if you've got all-purpose flour on hand, don't sweat it. It'll still do the trick. Eggs are the heart and soul of our pasta dough, adding richness and that signature elasticity. Look for large, free-range eggs for the best flavor and texture. And a pinch of salt? Well, that's just to wake up those taste buds. Lastly, a drizzle of olive oil is optional, but it adds a lovely silkiness to the dough. Plus, it makes kneading a breeze. So gather your ingredients, grab your apron, and let's get this pasta party started. Now for the fun part, making the dough. This is where the magic begins, transforming simple ingredients into something truly special. Start by making a well in the center of your flour. This well will act as a cradle for the wet ingredients, ensuring they mix evenly with the flour. Think of it like a flour volcano ready to erupt with flavor. The well helps to contain the eggs and other liquids, making the mixing process much easier and more controlled. Crack your eggs into the well, add a pinch of salt, and if you're feeling fancy, drizzle in that olive oil. The eggs provide richness and structure while the salt enhances the flavor. Olive oil adds a touch of luxury and helps to create a smoother dough. Now, using a fork, gradually whisk the eggs, incorporating the flour a little at a time. This step is crucial for ensuring that the dough comes together smoothly without any lumps. For a fun twist, try adding safe food coloring to your pasta dough. This simple addition can transform your pasta into a vibrant masterpiece. To do this, mix a few drops of food coloring directly into the flour before adding the eggs. This will ensure an even distribution of color throughout the dough. Whether you want a bold red, a sunny yellow, or a fun green, your pasta will have a distinguished and eye-catching color. It's perfect for themed dinners or just adding a splash of creativity to your cooking. Keep whisking until the mixture starts to come together. You'll notice the dough becoming thicker and more cohesive as the flour absorbs the moisture from the eggs and oil. Then it's time to get your hands dirty. This is where the real work begins, but it's also incredibly satisfying. Turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface and knead for about 10 minutes. Kneading is essential for developing the gluten, which gives the pasta its characteristic chewiness. Don't be afraid to give it some welly. Use the heel of your hand to push the dough away from you, then fold it back over itself and give it a quarter turn. Repeat this process and you'll feel the dough becoming more elastic and smooth. Kneading develops the gluten in the flour, resulting in that wonderfully chewy pasta texture we all love. The more you knead, the more the gluten strands align and strengthen, creating a dough that's both strong and pliable. You'll know the dough is ready when it's smooth, elastic, and bounces back when you poke it. This is a sign that the gluten has developed properly and the dough is ready for the next step. Once you've given that dough a good workout, wrap it tightly in cling film and let it rest for at least 30 minutes. Resting allows the gluten to relax, making the dough easier to roll out later. This allows the gluten to relax, making the dough easier to roll out later. During this resting period, the flour continues to hydrate and the dough becomes more pliable and easier to work with. So, be patient and give it the time it needs to rest and develop. Now that your dough is rested and raring to go, it's time to roll it out. Cut the dough into manageable pieces. Working with one piece at a time, use a rolling pin to roll it out as thinly as possible. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try using a pasta machine. This handy gadget makes rolling out the dough a breeze, giving you those thin, even sheets of pasta perfection. Whether you're team rolling pin or team pasta machine, the key is to keep the dough well floured to prevent sticking. And don't worry if it tears a little. That's all part of the charm of homemade pasta. Once you've rolled out your pasta sheets, it's time to move on to the really exciting part, shaping. Get ready to unleash your inner pasta artist. Here's where you can really let your creativity shine. From classic spaghetti and fettuccine to fancy ravioli and tortellini, the possibilities are endless. For long pasta, shapes like spaghetti or tagliatelle, simply cut your rolled-out dough into strips using a sharp knife. Let's dive into the amusing art of creating different pasta shapes and kinds from scratch. Spaghetti, the hairy noodles. Spaghetti is the simplest yet most iconic pasta shape, but it can get tricky. Roll out your dough into a thin sheet and then cut it into long, skinny noodles. Imagine you're making edible hair extensions for a giant doll. It's the pasta version of Rapunzel's locks, ready to be slurped up with gusto. Fettuccine, spaghetti's thicker cousin. Fettuccine is like spaghetti, after a few trips to the gym, thicker and more robust. Roll out your dough and cut it into wider strips. If spaghetti is a delicate fairy, fettuccine is the lumberjack, ready to tackle any hearty sauce you throw its way. Ravioli, pasta pillows. Ravioli is the adorable little pillow of the pasta world. Roll out 2 thin sheets of dough, plop spoonfuls of filling on one sheet, then cover with the other sheet. Press around each mound to seal, then cut into squares. It's like making tiny, delicious sleeping bags for your fillings. If your ravioli look like lumpy pillows, you're doing it right. Tortellini, pasta rings. Tortellini are like the engagement rings of pasta. Start with small circles of dough, place a bit of filling in the center, fold into a half moon and then bring the ends together to form a ring. It's like you're proposing to your dinner. Will you marry me in deliciousness? Lasagna. Pasta blankets. Lasagna is the lasagna of the pasta world. Because it's so iconic, it needs no comparison. Roll out large sheets of dough and cut them to fit your baking dish. Layer these sheets with sauce, cheese, and whatever else your heart desires. Farfalle, the bow tie affair. Farfalle, or bow tie pasta, is perfect for when your dinner needs a touch of class. Cut your dough into small rectangles, pinch the centers to form a bow tie shape, and voila! It's like your pasta is ready for a formal or fun event. Pappardelle, wide ribbons of joy. Pappardelle are broad, flat noodles that look like giant fettuccine. Cut your rolled-out dough into wide strips, perfect for soaking up rich sauces. If pasta were a dance, pappardelle would be the waltz. Gnocchi, little potato clouds. Gnocchi, technically a potato pasta, are the fluffy clouds of the pasta world. Roll your dough into long ropes, cut into bite-sized pieces, and press each one with a fork to give it that classic ridged texture. They're like little pillows ready to float into your mouth. So, whether you're crafting delicate spaghetti strands or hearty lasagna sheets, making pasta from scratch is a mix of art, science, and comedy. Embrace the mess, enjoy the process, and remember, even if your shapes turn out a little wonky, they'll still taste divine. Buon appetito, you can make them as thick or thin as you like. For a rustic look, leave the edges rough. Or for a more polished finish, use a pasta cutter for perfectly uniform strands. If you're feeling adventurous, try your hand at making filled pasta like ravioli or tortellini. These little pockets of deliciousness are easier to make than you think and are sure to impress your dinner guests. No matter what shapes you choose, remember to dust your pasta with a little flour to prevent sticking. And if you're not cooking it right away, you can lay it out on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and let it dry for a bit. Cooking your homemade pasta is a breeze. Simply bring a large pot of salted water to a rolling boil. Think of it as a jacuzzi for your pasta. The salt seasons the pasta and helps it cook evenly. Gently add your pasta to the boiling water and give it a stir to prevent sticking. Fresh pasta cooks much faster than dried pasta, so keep a close eye on it. It's ready when it floats to the surface and has a lovely al dente texture, tender with a slight bite. This usually takes just a couple of minutes. Once it's cooked, use a slotted spoon or spider strainer to carefully lift the pasta out of the water. Avoid rinsing it, as this can wash away some of the starches that help the sauce cling to it. Here are a few pro tips to help you achieve pasta perfection every time. Don't be afraid to experiment with different flours. Try using whole wheat flour for a nuttier flavor or semolina flour for a coarser texture. If your dough feels a bit dry, add a teaspoon of water at a time until it comes together. If it's too sticky, add a sprinkle of flour. If you don't have a pasta machine, don't worry. A rolling pin works just fine. Just be prepared for a bit of an arm workout. To prevent your pasta from sticking together, toss it with a little olive oil or sauce as soon as it's cooked. Leftover cooked pasta can be stored in the fridge for a couple of days. Just reheat it gently in a pan with a little sauce or butter. Homemade pasta is best enjoyed with friends and family. Invite your loved ones over for a fun-filled pasta party. Let everyone choose their favorite sauces and toppings and get ready for a feast to remember. Making pasta together is a great way to bond and create lasting memories. Plus, it's always more fun to cook with others. Put on some music, pour yourselves a glass of your favorite beverage, and let the good times roll. Sharing a meal made with love and care is one of life's simplest yet most rewarding pleasures. So gather your people, whip up a batch of homemade pasta, and savor every delicious bite. Making your own pasta is an incredibly rewarding experience. It's a chance to slow down, get creative in the kitchen, and connect with the food you eat. And the best part? It tastes absolutely incredible. So ditch the store-bought stuff and embrace the joy of homemade pasta. It's easier than you think, and the results are simply amazing. From the first mix to the last bite, you'll be amazed at what you can create. So go on, give it a try. You might just surprise yourself with your inner pasta-making maestro. Happy cooking! Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Cook Pros and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest cooking tutorials, tips and delicious recipes. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends who love to cook. Oh, by the way, check out the video description for a premium pasta maker at a highly discounted price.